Good evening, you guys. This is Amber coming to y'all to share something with you, some things that we need to pray about, and just some dreams that the Lord has been showing me. I'm not going to go into detail of the dreams, but I'm just going to briefly, you know, recap on the dreams that I had. So lately, I have been having several dreams of this virus pertaining to this new strain that we see, particularly before the kids started back school this August. And so I, I want to say that we need to pray for the children because honestly, regardless if you've been jabbed or not, we shouldn't have sent these children back to school yet in person because they're being exposed from what I was shown through this dream. Well, several dreams. I had at least like four or five. These kids are being exposed to the virus, and um, a lot of kids are going to get sick. Like a lot of kids are already sick. There's a lot of hospitalization going on for children, and the way I saw it was one of the dreams. I'm not gonna go into all of them, but one of the dreams, my own child was used in the dream, and my mom was there. And I realized after I sat, to think about what this dream was saying, because my daughter, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. Um, my mom is actually a part of the sorority Deltas, and in the dream she was used, and we were at a doctor's appointment, and I that wasn't the only dream that I had. Is I kept having, multiple confirming after the other, and so these children are at risk by putting them back in school. Regardless of what everybody's saying about them needing to be in school so they don't fall behind, or for as far as helping with their development and social skills and different stuff like that. These kids are being put at risk because I believe it has to do with money. When many leaders could actually just let them be virtual for right now, at least until the surge, kind of dies down or something. But many states are sending children back to school without the option to let them do virtual, making it like that's the only choice that we have, when I know that that's not the case. But anyway, these kids, they're being exposed to this virus. What I saw in these dreams is that it's a lot of kids are going to be affected by this. And so if you're able to, you know, do virtual or homeschool, do that. Like choose those options to protect your children, because this must be, something that's really serious, because I kept having multiple dreams. Like it's kind of like a warning, the way that God was allowing me to have these dreams like that about this variant. And so I also, my child actually told me that she had a dream of something, um, of getting the jab. And I asked her in the dream, where was I? And she told me that I said, was I there? And she said, no. I believe from what she told me, this is what I've been, perceiving about this, that eventually it's going to be made mandatory for the children in schools, or either if it's not that, they're going to give them to the children, without the parents around. And so that's just something that we need to be cautious of and aware of, for those who do not want to, take the jab. That's something to be aware of that may possibly happen from what she told me. Because my child dreams too, and she tells me, the different dreams that she have. And I kind of was waiting on the Lord to kind of uh, confirm it to me. And what I was trying to do was actually, seek the Lord on what to do as far as sending my children back to school with this surge. And that's when I started having all these dreams, about it, which was my warning not to send my child back. So my child, like, I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. They're at home. They're not going to school. Not right now with all that. They're homeschooled. But those are the warnings that I got through my dreams about this this variant. Before it even started, I was actually having those dreams. It just takes a while sometimes before I actually realize what the dream is actually saying or about. And then that's when I started seeing the stuff about the surges and this variant. And I even was warning people on Facebook, telling them to, you know, like warning them about this with the children going back to school, in the ways that they were making it sort of like they're forcing us to send them back in person, that warning them that a lot of children would end up sick. And that's exactly what's happening now. And so we need to pray for the kids, for the children, because there a lot of children are being affected and are going to be affected. And sometimes the Lord gives us warnings. Yes, we can pray, but when the Lord gives warnings, many times it's for us to take heed to those warnings, not to just continue on and be like, oh, I'm going to pray. Yeah, we could pray, but sometimes He warns us to keep us from going in a certain direction. And these leaders, they don't care about the children because they're allowing them to be put at risk by making them go back. They're not giving, well, at first they weren't giving options for virtual, but then they kind of, I don't know about other places, but out here they weren't doing it. And then they kind of came back and told the parents that they would have to drop their children from the schools they're at to enroll them into this academy that's specifically made for virtual students. But honestly, right now, I believe it should have been just virtual for all of them until, at least until it kind of died down. And so that's one of the things the Lord has been warning me about, concerning this virus and the children, because that's who is affecting the most right now, regardless of whatever choice you make, choose to take, whether you're taking a jab or not. Children are going to be affected because they're trying to force these children to be back in school too soon in person. And so I have, oh, that's another thing. I forgot something else. Another sister had did a video, and she was speaking about this as well. And as she was speaking about this, I ended up getting a vision, like an open vision of a baby, like a baby, like maybe like around 18 months or something, who was sick and had like rosy cheeks. Like you could tell from how the baby looked, this baby was sick. And that's who's being affected. Because I saw in the news, babies are being affected, and not only babies, other children. But what I saw is was coming to pass as far as many children getting sick, and many of them are young, small children. Um, I have a scripture that I want to share. First Peter 5, chapter 5, verse 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." Above that, it says, "Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you." Okay, and so I read that to say the enemy has an agenda. He has his plans, his devices, an agenda. It is our job and duty as parents to protect our children. When the Lord warns against this, it's important to listen, regardless of your status, of what you choose to do or not. Um, it's important to listen to that, because sometimes the Lord can see things ahead of us that we can't see. Well, all the time, not sometimes. He sees things ahead of us that we can't see. And I believe that, you know, these multiple dreams that I've had about this is because the Lord is warning. I also had a while back, maybe about 2 years ago, it was a dream, and I couldn't remember all of it because it was kind of foggy. Like I remembered a little bit, but I couldn't remember the full dream when I woke up. But it was as if like the enemy has an agenda against our children, a plan against our children that they're that he's trying to bring to pass. And so you kind of just have to keep your eyes open, like your spiritual eyes open with a lot of things right now, with what's going on, and make the best decisions when it comes to your children. um I have another scripture that I want to read, but I think I'm going to read that after I tell y'all about the next thing. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. So, another dream that uh, I had, I want to say, I think this was the only dream. I may have had another one like this a while back. Um, I think I did. But anyways, another thing we need to pray against is sex trafficking. I had this dream, and from in the dream, what I saw is what's this is what's happening, or like the enemy is trying to cause this to happen. The sex trafficking is coming from people, people's own families, like selling them into this. Um, and it all has to do with money. Um, the increase in sex trafficking, a lot of it has to do with people's families having involvement in this, selling their own family members into it for money, from what I saw in this dream. And It's possible police involvement too. Um, I believe I had another dream like this a while back. I have to go look through my notes, through my notebook. But yeah, sex trafficking is something we need to be aware about, because it's on the rise, and again, and a lot of it is going to, from what I saw in this dream, is coming from people's families, people that these people know and trust have a part in selling these women into sex trafficking. And so that's something that we need to pray against, because that's something the Lord warned me about: sex trafficking, the virus, the new variant with children, specifically the children, and then also um, sexual abuse when it comes to children. Um, from that dream that I had, um, I don't want to even go into the dream, but it's important to watch your kids around people like in this time. Like, keep your children close, close to you. Don't let your children go anywhere alone without you, around people, um, or in places by themselves. Because the Lord has really been showing me through dream, um, pedophilia and things happening to children. Sexual abuse, like, um, things that don't, sexual abuse happening to children because they're allowing their children to be in places alone by themselves when they need to be with them. So basically, just don't leave your children alone with nobody. Don't let them go nowhere by themselves. And this is not to scare no one, but this is just to be vigilant against the enemy, because he's walking around seeking whom he can devour in this hour, and evil is increasing around us if you have your spiritual eyes open. And so pray against that, pedophilia, um, you know, sexual abuse, the Delta variant, and sex trafficking, because the Lord has been warning me about that through dream. And I have another um, scripture. It's First Timothy chapter 6 verses 8 through 11. It says, when it comes to the sex trafficking and people doing this, you know betraying family members, basically over money. It says, but godly, wait a second, it says, in having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. And I'm going to stop there. And so I just wanted to come to y'all and share this, because I've kind of been a little busy, but I have another video that I'm gonna share soon also. But this one was urgent, and it was very important because I kept having the dreams about the virus, um, and children, and the way that God does it when I'm dreaming. He uses people in place, people that I know in place of what he's actually talking about. And so we need to pray against sex trafficking. We need to pray when it comes to sex trafficking, the virus, the children, is sexual abuse, and pedophilia. And so that's all I have to say, you guys. I'm tired. It's been a long week, but a good week, but I'm exhausted. And so I see y'all later. Hope y'all have a blessed evening. Good night and bye.